Hi, my name is Rachel. Welcome to another reading vlog. I'm sure, as most people are aware, right now in the Pacific Northwest there have been a lot of fires, which means that there's a lot of smoke. So here in Seattle, where I live, there's been smoke covering the sky for about a week. Thankfully, we haven't had any fires here, but nonetheless, it has really been affecting people. And one of the major effects that I've personally been feeling is a complete lack of motivation. The smoke has just really brought my mental health down over this past week, and on top of that, I've been on just like looking at screens a lot recently because, you know, everything is so sad right now, and like everyone's feeling a bit hopeless, especially with Ruth Bader Ginsburg having passed away last night. I think it's important to try to, you know, do something for yourself and for your own mental health. So that's why I've decided that today I am going to be just reading and trying to stay away from the internet as much as I can. That's what I'm going to be doing. I will show you the books, maybe. Probably just one book that I'm going to be reading today. If you are also feeling pretty mentally, physically, emotionally low right now, first of all, that is a super valid feeling. You should never feel as though you have to be as the most productive that you can possibly be. Sometimes there's just days where you don't want to do anything, and that is totally fine. So yeah, maybe this will inspire you to take your own day for yourself. It doesn't have to be reading, but obviously I like to read, so that's what I'm choosing. But you know, take a bath or go on a walk if you're not in an area where there's a lot of smoke. You know, do your nails, just do something that you enjoy. So yeah. Alright, so I've got my book, which, like I said, it's The City of Brass. I'm more than halfway through. What? Yeah, it's only just like a couple hundred pages left. I'll finish this quickly, and then after that, I'm probably gonna start The Man in the Brown Suit by Agatha Christie, and this is like one of the most highly rated ones, so I'm gonna do that. But for now, I'm gonna work through The City of Brass. So I've got my book, got a cozy blanket, got some tea, already lit a candle, so it's gonna be nice and fall-y, autumnal in here. Oh, also I thought, if you don't know what The City of Brass is about, it's by S.A. Chakraborty, and it's a fantasy book that is inspired by Middle Eastern and Arabic mythology, and it is set at first in Cairo in Egypt during the 1920s? What? No, not 1920s. The 18th century, and we follow a woman who has these kind of, not powers, she has these abilities. She's not quite human. She can speak any language that she hears. She has the ability to kind of heal people of their ailments or recognize if someone does have a disease or a sickness or some sort of like cancer or that sort of thing. And she accidentally calls down a jinn, which in here isn't necessarily a good term. They're also called deva, and she's kind of brought into that world and she's being hunted, and there's a dual perspective of a prince who lives in Devabad, which is where the like these magical beings, these jinn, live. They eventually meet up. Very political so far. I'm assuming it's a trilogy. I'm assuming all of it's going to be fairly political. So yes, if you like fantasy and you're kind of getting tired of seeing mostly European-based fantasies, I highly recommend checking this one out. Okay, so it's currently about 2:20. I just got to chapter 23 of The City of Brass, so I've read about read 58 pages. So I thought that would be, since now I'm about 75% of the way through, I thought that would be a good time to stop and have some lunch. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and make that now. Alright, so I just got done eating lunch and watching a YouTube video. Now I've made some more tea over there, and I've got the book all ready. I've got my setup all ready. I do have some of these little caramel apple cake donuts with powdered sugar. I will say they're not very good. They don't taste like caramel apple at all, but I bought it, so I'm gonna eat it because I don't like wasting food. But yeah, gonna hop back into reading. So I think I'm almost done with The City of Brass. I'm on page 467. So yeah, haven't got that many pages left. But I just noticed that it's started raining, which is super exciting because it hasn't rained here in such a long time. So that's exciting. It feels like it's finally the start of fall, which is just great. And it really I really love the rain. I think it just adds so much to the atmosphere when you're in the mood to read. Like, it just makes everything that much more cozy. I just finished The City of Brass, and oh my god, it was so good. Wow. Ending took a turn that I did not expect it to take, like, at all. Like I said, there is a lot of political intrigue involved in this. Most of it is pretty political as far as, like, any of the drama goes. Lots of secrets, lots of going behind people's backs. Once the story really gets started, it's just like one thing right after the other. Like, it's quite fast-paced despite it being more of a political intrigue, which tends to be like political fantasies tend to be a bit slower, as just based off of what I've read before. But yeah, this one was pretty fast-paced despite it being like a little over 500 pages. The world building is very interesting. Obviously, it's not something that I've really experienced too much before. I cannot wait to dive into the next book in the series, which I don't know, might not be for a while, but I know that I'm gonna love it when I do. I think overall, I'd say this is a 5-star read, honestly. Really impressive. Highly recommend checking it out if this is the sort of book that you're interested in, like fantasy, if you like fantasy, and if you like mythology, and you want to start getting away from European-based mythologies. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna take a break from reading for a little bit, and then I'm gonna start on The Man in the Brown Suit. Good morning, everyone. It is currently the next day because I started The Man in the Brown Suit, and I ended up reading it until about 1 a.m. and I got to chapter 17, which is pretty good. So I got a little over 100 pages in last night, so that's a pretty good head start. I'm really enjoying it so far. The main character is really interesting. I love how Agatha Christie tends to write really strong female characters, especially considering the time in which she was alive. All of them tend to be pretty plucky and kind of like do-it-yourself kind of characters, which I really enjoy. Yesterday I said that my review of The City of Brass I said that it was a 5-star read. After thinking about it a little bit and kind of reading through other people's reviews on Goodreads, I decided to lower it to 4 stars because while I really enjoyed the book, I did agree with a couple of things that some people mentioned, one of which is that most of the book is world building. As far as plot goes, there's not a whole lot. Another thing is that the relationship between, oh gosh, I forgot her name. So the relationship between Dara and Nahri being the main character, but their relationship is fairly problematic as well, just with the power dynamic being really heavily skewed, and towards the end there's just a lot of like jealousy, and Dara kind of forces Nahri to be in a position that she explicitly said that she didn't want to be in. And there was one other thing that while I was reading it, I was like, this kind of weird, I don't remember which character says it, but some character says like, fuck you. I think it's just incredibly out of place for a number of reasons. One of which being that it's set in the 1800s, or not in the 1800s, in the 18th century. That's a very modern phrase for people to be saying. On top of that, just within the realm of like this world building and, you know, the religions and stuff, I just don't think that would be a swear word. It just didn't really make sense to me. It felt super out of place. It kind of took me out of the story a little bit, especially when like that sort of language wasn't dispersed throughout the book very evenly. I think I would have felt a little differently if there were other things like that, like characters saying like, ah shit. It would have been a little less jarring for me to see a character say fuck you. That was just something that I was like, this is weird in the moment. Because of those reasons, I decided to bring it down to a 4 out of 5 stars. Still a really amazing book. The world building was just mind-blowing, and I'm still very excited to see where the other books take us. There was a plot twist at the end that I think I already mentioned that just, I was like, what? So I'm still excited to, you know, continue with this series and see where it goes. So I just wanted to mention that before I get back to reading. I'm probably gonna finish this today and then start on another book. So yeah, that's it. Have a good one.